traveled a lot around Europe, and I came to America because I always wanted to experience the American way of life, and especially the campus life, because in Switzerland we don't live on campus normally.
I love music. My parents and also my friends always said that all the experts or the top students would go to USA.
I wanted to have really a fluent level in English. That's why I decided to go in an English-speaking country.
Describe the Australian stereotype? Yeah, definitely. Just like I had expectations and stereotypes of them, they have a lot of me. Crap like, do we ride kangaroos to school? No. What else was there? There was like, I guess Steve Irwin and Croc Dundee. They've definitely done a lot for Australian culture. I'm very thankful for what they've done because they've made this really masculine and Australian manly image, which when it comes to being Australian in America is just brilliant, because when an American goes to Australia, us Australians would consider most Americans to be obese. That's just the stereotype. So it's not a great thing for an American come to Australia, but when an Australian goes to America, it's brilliant. I love it.
Because I feel like nobody here has any clue where Austria is. I feel like some people don't even know that Austria actually exists, because everyone just knows Australia, which is something completely different. And like they either think that Austria is like in Germany or Austria is Australia. This is Austria. It's not Australia. Australia is like somewhere here, like huge. And there is, of course, Germany. It's a lot bigger, yes, we know that. But Austria is still great. One girl in my class, she told me that she might go to Austria to study abroad. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, oh, that would be so cool if we could party together, Claudia. Like, can we go to the beach too? I was like, there is no beach in Austria. I don't know. I'm either Australian or German.
We met a girl, and we told her that we were from France, because we had 2 French students here on campus. And she answered, oh yes, so the capital city is London. So that was the first shock for us. No, he was serious. Like, he really thought that Europe was a country, so like we were really shocked about it.
Yeah, it's often when you go to a party and they hear that you have an accent, the Americans ask you where you're from. Then I say, I'm from Germany. And they say, oh yeah, I'm from Germany too. And I think, oh great. But then it's, yeah, my grandfather comes from Germany. Oh, I think it's surprising that they still identify themselves with the country. I like that somehow.
And then now we're like, hey, wait, where are you from? You're not from here. And we're like, oh, okay, well, try guess. And they'll be like, yeah, well, UK. And then I'm like, no, South Africa. And they're like, what? I didn't know white people lived in South Africa. Are you serious? Are you joking?
I've even had one girl ask me, is South Africa its own country? I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, I thought it was just the bottom of Africa. I was like, no, it's a country.
I mean, there's some words like cheeseburger and Louisville, stuff like that. You can sound really American.
No, ma'am, don't worry. Like, some people call me the boogeyman, but I'm real friendly.
Before coming here, I was already familiar with American culture. I think that everybody is, because that's due to globalization.
If you ask American students who is the current French president, for instance, or he's François Hollande, but most of them never heard of him. Sometimes they know about the former president, Nicolas Sarkozy, but it's really not often. And at the opposite, if you ask, I would say, any international students who is the president, we know that it's Obama, that it was Bush before, Clinton before him, and Bush Senior before. Like, I have the feeling that we know much more about the US than they actually know about Europe or the rest of the world. So that was a huge surprise for me.
I think there's two people to blame for this. I think partially it's the American people, because I think we're just kind of not self-indulgent a little bit. We kind of just focus on our problems, but also the media. There's some international news in the media, but there's really not. It's not as prevalent. I would assume you can attest to this in other countries. It's probably American news is a lot more prevalent in your news than international news in our media. But I think it's almost an innocent ignorance.
Guns. That people have guns. In Germany, nobody has guns. And in one house, there, it was from one guy from Bellarmine, and he was somehow, we went there for a dinner with some people, some international students, and he was really proud to show us his collection of guns. And I never saw a gun in my life before, and was happy when he put them away again.
There's no Starbucks because nobody will go there because it's not real coffee for Italian people. So nobody would like Starbucks in Italy. But it's strange because if Italian people go abroad, Starbucks is the first place they look for to have coffee because it's the closest thing to Italian coffee that you can find abroad.
Hey y'all, we were at the Walmart, y'all. We were driving with the crew. James, the recorder? Yeah, the recorder. That's my mobile, y'all. Let's get it on. Let's get it on.
And Americans tend not to have as many inhibitions. They say and do what they want. They dress how they want. They don't care what they look like or what people think of them. On the whole, compared to Europeans.
I don't think they care about fashion here, so it's not a problem for them. They don't really care about that. So, but if you come from Italy, you can tell the difference. They have another concept of fashion. It's like casual.
I do remember it. I think one of the first things I remember Serena asking me, because she also emailed me, was if she could bring an iron. I was like, why do you want one? Because I never used that. I know you need to look good when you're in Italy. Not so much when you're in America.
Well, people dress very differently here than they do in Ireland. A lot of that is to do with the temperature, the climate. We have a much colder climate for a lot more time. So, I mean, you've always got your rain jacket or your umbrella. So we wouldn't be wearing as many shorts anyway. But yeah, people do dress differently. Boys tend to wear a lot of shorts. And I mean, the clothes here tend to be baggy and don't fit very well. Whereas in Ireland, we try to make them fit.
France, not everyone smokes, but I would say 90% of French students are smokers. The perceptions of American students about someone who smokes is different as well. Like, sometimes you have the feeling that they are judging you because you are a smoker. Like, I had this experience at the very beginning of the year. Like, I was not ashamed, but I didn't really like to say that I was smoking because I felt that they were judging me because I'm smoking, mainly because it's unhealthy. But when you compare with here in the US, all right, they are not smoking, but if you go to the UDH, every day, lunch or dinner, you can have burgers, pizzas, sandwiches, and for dessert, ice creams, cookies or brownies, peanut butter as well. And I think this is much more unhealthy than cigarettes.
Smoke on campus, so I always have to go outside. I'm fine with that. Probably it's really because I'm German, I'm used to stick with the rules. So I really am probably the only person on this campus always going outside.